When people talk about prayer, they often think it's just about words spoken quietly or loudly, standing or kneeling in church or at home. But prayer is more than a moment. It's a decision. It's the decision to hand something over instead of holding onto it with clenched fists. And the problem isn't that people don't pray enough. The problem is that they pray and then immediately take the worry right back. They say they trust God, but their actions show they trust their fear more. They pray for peace and then feed anxiety. They pray for direction and then rush ahead without waiting. They pray for help and then try to control every detail. That's not faith. That's asking for guidance while insisting on driving the whole way yourself. Trusting your prayers means understanding that once you've asked, your role changes. Your role is no longer to stress, panic, or obsess. Your role becomes patience, obedience, and faith. But patience is uncomfortable for people who want instant results. Obedience is difficult for people who want control. Faith is challenging for people who need proof before they believe, and that's why worry feels easier than trust. Worry makes you feel busy. Trust makes you feel exposed. Worry makes you feel like you're doing something. Trust requires you to stand still and believe that something is already being done. Most people confuse faith with feelings. They think if they don't feel calm, then they must not be trusting enough. But faith is not a feeling, it's a choice. You choose to trust even when your emotions are loud. You choose to believe even when your circumstances are quiet. You choose to keep walking even when you don't see the next step. Trusting your prayers means you stop replaying the same problem in your head after you've already given it to God. It means you stop treating prayer like a suggestion instead of a transfer of responsibility. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to trust their prayers is because they don't like uncertainty. They want guarantees, they want timelines, they want signs that make sense to them. But faith doesn't come with a calendar. It comes with a promise, and that promise isn't that everything will be easy. It's that you won't be alone. When you trust your prayers, you accept that the path may not look smooth, but it will be purposeful. You accept that discomfort doesn't mean you made the wrong prayer. Sometimes it means you made the right one. Worry often disguises itself as concern. People say, "I'm just thinking about it," or "I just want to be prepared." But there's a line between preparation and obsession. There's a line between responsibility and fear. When your mind keeps circling the same problem over and over without peace, that's not preparation. That's distrust. Trusting your prayers means allowing peace to guard your thoughts, even when the outcome is still unfolding. It means reminding yourself over and over that if God brought you this far, He didn't do it to abandon you now. Another reason trust is difficult is because people are afraid of losing control. They think if they stop worrying, something bad might happen. They think stress is protecting them. But stress has never prevented a problem. It has only drained people while the problem unfolds anyway. Trusting your prayers doesn't mean you stop being responsible. It means you stop trying to be God. You do your part and you release the rest. You show up, you stay disciplined, you stay faithful, but you don't carry burdens you were never meant to carry. Faith grows strongest in moments when nothing seems to be changing. That's when trust becomes real, when the door hasn't opened yet, when the answer hasn't come yet, when the healing isn't complete yet. Those are the moments when you either lean into faith or let worry take over. And worry always feels louder when faith is being stretched. But stretching doesn't mean breaking. It means strengthening. And every time you choose trust over worry, you build spiritual muscle that prepares you for what you've been praying for. People often forget that prayers don't always change situations immediately. They change the person praying first. They build patience. They sharpen discernment. They strengthen character. They prepare your mindset for responsibility. And if your prayer hasn't been answered yet, maybe you're still being shaped for it. Trusting your prayers means believing that the work happening inside you is just as important as the result you're waiting for. You're not being ignored, you're being developed. Trust also means learning how to let go daily, not just once. You don't pray once and never feel tempted to worry again. You pray, and then you choose trust again and again. When fear creeps back in, you release it again. When doubt shows up, you hand it over again. Faith is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. And every day you recommit to trusting your prayers, you deepen your relationship with God and strengthen your confidence that things are unfolding exactly as they should. There will be moments when trusting your prayers feels risky, when it feels like stepping into the unknown, when it feels like letting go of the only thing giving you a sense of control. But that's where faith lives, in the space between what you see and what you believe. And when you learn to rest in that space, you stop being ruled by anxiety. You stop chasing answers. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop questioning every delay. You start moving with peace instead of pressure. Trusting your prayers also changes how you respond to obstacles. Instead of panicking, you pause. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond thoughtfully. Instead of complaining, you listen. You start seeing challenges not as signs of failure, but as signals to lean in closer to God. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this preparing me for?" And that shift changes everything about how you walk through life. And the moment you truly trust your prayers is the moment worry loses its grip on you, because you finally understand that what you placed in God's hands is no longer yours to carry. A lot of people think when a prayer doesn't get answered right away, it means they were ignored, forgotten, or turned down, but delay has never meant denial. Delay is often the space where preparation happens. It's where strength is built, wisdom is gained, and character is refined. When you rush the process, you risk receiving something you're not ready to maintain. People pray for bigger lives without realizing bigger lives require stronger foundations, and foundations take time. God is never late. He's intentional. What feels slow to you may be perfectly timed for what's coming next. Most blessings don't arrive suddenly. They arrive after seasons of waiting that shape the person asking for them. You pray for elevation, but first you have to learn humility. You pray for success, but first you have to develop discipline. You pray for love, but first you have to learn how to give it properly. You pray for abundance, but first you have to manage what you already have. Delay isn't a punishment, it's training. It's the unseen preparation that keeps you from falling apart once the prayer is answered. People often underestimate how much responsibility comes with the things they ask for. They pray for opportunities without considering the pressure those opportunities bring. They pray for influence without understanding the accountability that comes with being seen. They pray for wealth without realizing it exposes habits, insecurities, and discipline. God doesn't rush blessings that could overwhelm you. The waiting season gives you time to mature, to learn patience, to build faith, and to strengthen your relationship with Him. Without that preparation, the very thing you prayed for could become the thing that breaks you. Delay also protects you from paths that look good but would end badly. Some prayers are delayed because the timing isn't right, or because the situation would lead you away from who you're meant to become. You might be praying for a door to open, not realizing that behind that door is stress, distraction, or people who would drain you. So instead of opening it, God redirects you, slows you down, or closes it completely. What feels like rejection may actually be protection working quietly in your favor. Waiting seasons reveal your true faith. It's easy to trust when everything is moving quickly. It's easy to believe when results show up immediately, but faith grows when nothing seems to be happening. When days pass and prayers remain unanswered, that's when belief either deepens or disappears. Delay tests whether you trust God only for results or for relationship. And when you keep praying, keep believing, and keep showing gratitude even during silence, you strengthen your spiritual endurance. People often stop praying right before things begin to change. They get tired, they get discouraged, they start doubting whether their prayers matter, but spiritual growth doesn't always announce itself. Transformation often happens quietly, slowly, beneath the surface. Just like a seed doesn't show growth immediately, your prayers may be taking root in ways you can't see yet. And if you dig up the seed too early because you're impatient, you interrupt the process. Delay teaches you to trust what you cannot see. Delay also forces reflection. It creates space to evaluate motives. Sometimes what you're praying for needs adjustment. Sometimes your heart needs alignment. Sometimes your priorities need rearranging. Waiting gives you the opportunity to ask deeper questions about why you want what you're asking for. And that reflection often leads to better clarity, stronger intentions, and healthier outcomes. If everything happened instantly, you'd never pause long enough to grow. God often uses delay to teach reliance instead of independence. When things don't move on your schedule, you're reminded that you're not in control. And that's not a weakness. It's a reminder to lean on faith instead of force, to listen instead of rushing, to trust instead of striving. Delay humbles the ego and strengthens the spirit. It helps you release the illusion that you can control every outcome and invites you to rely on divine guidance instead. Many people don't realize that the delay itself is shaping their testimony. What you survive while waiting becomes the story you tell once the prayer is answered. The struggle you endure becomes the wisdom you later share. The patience you develop becomes the strength you pass on to others. Without the waiting season, the blessing wouldn't carry the same depth, meaning, or impact. Delay adds weight to the miracle. And during waiting seasons, it's important to remember that progress isn't always visible. Sometimes progress looks like learning to stay calm when you used to panic. Sometimes it looks like trusting instead of complaining. Sometimes it looks like gratitude instead of frustration. These internal changes are signs that the prayer is already working. Just because circumstances haven't shifted yet doesn't mean you haven't. And the person you're becoming is often the answer to the prayer you're waiting for. Delay also teaches endurance. It teaches you how to keep showing up even when you're tired, how to stay faithful when results are slow, how to keep hope alive when doubts creep in. Endurance isn't built in comfort. It's built in waiting. And once endurance is established, you're able to handle challenges that would have crushed you before. That strength is part of the preparation. Some prayers are delayed because the timing has to line up with other people, other events, or other lessons that need to happen first. Your breakthrough might be connected to someone else's growth. Your opportunity might depend on circumstances you can't see yet. Delay aligns pieces you're not aware of, and when everything finally comes together, it happens in a way that feels purposeful, not rushed. Waiting seasons can be uncomfortable, but they are never wasted. Every moment of delay carries meaning, even when it doesn't feel that way. Growth is happening whether you notice it or not. Strength is forming. Wisdom is increasing. Faith is being stretched and solidified. And when the prayer is finally answered, you'll understand why it couldn't have happened any sooner.